Hey everybody, so here we are in part 8 of our social distancing quilt project, and this is the final video that's coming to you to finish off your quilt. So the last time that we spoke I got you to cut the piano keys. Some of you have stitched them on, some of you haven't. So if you haven't stitched them on, you need to put on 2 as they are to either side of the quilt. And then to the remaining 2 border strips that you've made, you add on your 6.5 inch square. I know some of you were unsure about this big square, but I sort of felt that it grounds it because there's quite a lot going on. So try it. If you're happy with it, go ahead. If not, you're free to change it. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we are going to put on one more plain border. This measures 2.5 by 68.5 inches. That's the correct side of the quilt. But if your quilt doesn't measure that, that's fine. Just make your border strips to the right length of the quilt. Might be a little bit bigger, might be a little bit smaller. But at this stage, just make sure the border strips are the right length. And you're going to cut 4 of those. You're going to sew 2 on, 1 to either side. And then cut 4 2.5 inch squares and sew those onto the remaining 2 borders and attach those to your quilt. And then we come on to the final border. This is made up from 12.5 by 3 inch strips. And I know some of you at this stage will not have enough scraps to do this or enough leftovers. So you can make your strips up from all your leftover pieces. Okay, so you need to cut 24, you need 24 in total, 12.5 by 3 inch strips like this. But if you need to join them to make up the strips, that's fine. Just make 24 12.5 inch strips. And then you're going to need 4 3 inch squares for the corners. So when you've cut the strips, you're going to sew them into sets of 6. You're going to sew 1 of each border strip onto each side of the quilt, and then sew on the 3.5 inch squares. I'll get Sean to show you in a minute. And you'll sew those on to the other 2 sides of the quilt. So if we just look here, that's coming onto the corners. And as I say, don't worry if you haven't got enough left, fabric and scraps left, you can just join all your pieces together and it can be totally scrappy. Or if you have got bits like that, it's sort of nice to put those on too. So that's it for the final quilt. We've got a couple of other things to tell you. One is the massive response that we've had to this quilt. We've so many people making it and still people starting to make it. So spread the word. All the details are on the website. We've actually made headlines. We had a newspaper contact us in the week to take our photograph and do a little report on this fabulous project, because it has been fabulous and it's been a great distraction to what's going on. So you never know, we might have to come up with something else in the next few weeks. We also have a class, an online class starting on it's the week after Easter, so it's around the 15th of April, and the details of that are on the website. And we'll show you the quilt now. Okay folks, so this is our class quilt. That's going to be a 10-week class. We usually do a class online running alongside our own classes. We're not sure if they're going to be running yet, so we're just going to run this anyway. This quilt is called Parallel Dimensions, and it's a class we've run before, and I have to admit that this is not my quilt. This is one of my students' quilts. So thank you, Anne, for lending us your quilt. We just liked her so much more than the one we made, so we've hijacked it for now. So pop onto the website and you can have a look at the class. We'll give everybody a discount code as well for if you want to take part. And look, thanks for joining us, and thank you, Sean, my cameraman, who's very cranky today. And keep sewing, take care, stay safe. Social distancing, Sewcial and the Sewing Shed. Thanks guys.